February 24th at noon, we're going to be interviewing the two lawyers that are suing Google and Facebook to get newspapers paid for the benefits that those organizations, obviously all the profit that they're getting off of news content. So it's related to this article, but this one should be very interesting. They've been interviewed at a couple other industry podcasts, and we'll just hear about the status of the lawsuit, and you guys can ask questions. This is part of an ongoing article, right, Chris? I mean, we've been talking about Australia, France, Spain. There's a lot of countries that are putting their foot down here against big tech.
They're all mentioned to one degree or another with their role and what they're asking of these companies as well. So yeah, just play the audio version of this for us real quick.
So anyone that doesn't know, this is audio articles tool we're very proud of. It uses natural language processing and semantic understanding to transcribe the text article into a very realistic sounding article. It doesn't just read off the words like a robot. It understands the context of everything. And we can do this for every article on the website automatically. So shoot me an email if you're interested in learning more. We can do this on a third-party site or on our hometown sites. So go ahead. Thanks, Chris.
Government subsidies for newspapers in the shadow of big tech. Today, we're discussing a piece by Anya Schiffrin over at the Poynter Institute about the international discussion around government subsidies for journalism. The article, Internationally Too, Journalists and Others Are Debating Government Subsidies and How to Deal with Big Tech, covers several strategic interventions to offset the effects of big tech on smaller media outlets. Here are the highlights. Australia's News Media Bargain Code is widely viewed as a game changer. The code may not serve the needs of big and small publishers equally, but it is forcing big tech to pay media organizations for news. Another point of tension in many countries is how to design policies that don't just benefit the incumbent outlets. Events like the US elections and the COVID-19 pandemic, and related misinformation that spread as rapidly as the virus, have also provided stark reminders that serious journalism remains vital to the proper functioning of societies. At our hometown, we constantly strive to find novel and sustainable ways for our customers to generate revenue. From automation, personalized ad networks to sophisticated SEO management, our WordPress platform provides all the tools needed.
Pull up those bullet points again, just go through these one at a time.
And as I said, the original article is one of those more of a 15-minute read. So I kind of just borrowed some highlights from some of the large sections that seem to kind of grasp at some things that we've touched on before, but can definitely keep expanding upon.
Please come to the webinar in a month. You'll learn all about at least one of the cases in the US. I'm sure there's more, but Australia is leading the game here. But I've heard reports about them not paying out small publishers. I think we may have even had an article on this. So what you have over there is typical politics. Rupert Murdoch, in charge of News Corp, his organizations are getting paid because he's very tight with the government there. But some of the smaller ones are falling through the cracks. I don't know what I would say other than as we look at what to do in the US, we need to really think about the smaller publishers because they're the ones hurting the most. They cover communities that no one else is. So we kind of need to prioritize them in this negotiation. I don't know. What do you guys think?
In the original article, there's a couple of things distinctly mentioned of complaints and with FTC and some other things about how disproportionate the dispensation of the subsidy actually is, depending on the size of the organization. And that's kind of hinted at in the incumbent outlets where there's a disproportionate amount also going to longer standing outlets instead of going to startups.
That kind of reminds me of what we saw with that beta feature of where you can see all the background that Google has on each link, but determining who is trustworthy, who is authoritative is huge. So there's certain technical things that we can do, certainly with the site schema and things like that. But other than that, it's just about having, I think, a footprint in the community, both physically and digitally.
Well, there's a study here by or a co-study by one of the authors, Saving Journalism 2, Global Strategies and a Look at Investigative Journalism, which helps locals, as you were just saying, find funding sources.
Right.
These, because a lot of this is subsidy work, finding funding sources while advertising is down because of the pandemic and for other reasons.
Right. Today in News Tech, the podcast covering innovation in digital journalism. You can follow us on Facebook and Twitter and subscribe on YouTube or any of your favorite podcast apps. We'll see you tomorrow.
At our hometown, we help newspapers build WordPress websites, design native apps, and develop digital subscription models. If you are interested in a free prototype of your publication on WordPress, go to ourhometown.com and click the Contact Us button.